Hey guys, how are you? Thank you for clicking onto this video. Please subscribe. I'm just trying to get my numbers up. And I think between now and December, and hopefully going all the way to the end of 2025, I'll try to post videos, at least one video a day. That's my target. But if I can do even 4 in a week, will be a great achievement. So please subscribe. Let's get these numbers up. Have a very sad video today. It's sad, it's frustrating, and it's one of those videos that just pisses you off. Like really, just want to piss you off. It's about HIV/AIDS in Africa. You know, one of the things I realized that people haven't looked at is where AIDS is. First of all, everyone knows AIDS is rampant in Africa. It's everywhere in the world, but it's rampant in Africa. And the worst part in Africa, and this is what I want to tell, excuse me guys, this is what I tell people who are even traveling. The worst part in Africa is Southern Africa. South Africa, including Eswatini, being the number one area. Zimbabwe, Zambia, I think in East Africa you get Kenya, Namibia, but mainly Southern Africa. It's very, very rampant there. I think in South Africa, the percentages are just high. In Zambia, it's almost like 10% of the population. South Africa, it's very high. In Eswatini, it's like 28% of the population have this thing. Extremely, extremely high levels of this stuff. Now, I always ask first of all, before I go into detail, I've asked myself this question. I've traveled around the world. I've been to Asia. I've been to a few countries around the world, right? And I've realized one thing. It's not just in Africa where people are misbehaving when it comes to sex. Everywhere I've gone around the world, like I've lived in Australia for more than a decade, and I've lived in different suburbs, and I guarantee you, on almost every street I've lived on, someone was divorcing. Some couple were divorcing because someone cheated. So it's not just African men are cheating and that's not true. In Japan, and I tried to link the video in my bio below. There's an African guy who was saying, like, when you are in Japan, you have to be very careful with Japanese ladies because most of them, they hook up with you even though they're married, and when the husband finds out, actually you will be fined $100,000. You have to pay the husband $100,000. This is not some made up stuff. This is like, and for that to be law, it means these women have been cheating for some time. That's when that thing became law. That's the reason why they made that law. If you go in any other parts, in Europe, most parts of Asia, you're going to find people doing what people do, sleeping around and all those things. But the rate of HIV there is not as high as it is in Africa. So I decided to dig a little bit deeper. We say, okay, so if we divide Africa in Southern Africa, East Africa, West Africa, and North Africa, and we find out that the place where the highest HIV rate in 4 of these African parts is in Southern Africa. Then I did this. I said, okay, which one of these parts in Africa has the highest concentration of white people? Which one? Can you guess? Southern Africa. And because it has the highest concentration of white people, you're going to find that Southern Africa actually has more of these, what they call NGOs, basically non-governmental organizations, which are run by Europeans. And they go there and help out here, help out there, give free medical stuff and train people up and all that crap. So one thing I've now realized is there used to be and then I just had this light bulb where the highest concentration of white people in Southern Africa, and we have the highest HIV rate in this region. We have the highest number of these non-governmental organizations helping out communities, especially in the health sector. And the rate of HIV is high in these places.
You mentioned actively spreading AIDS.
There was a unit from SIMA that one of the things was that we went into African countries.
And how was that done exactly?
Through inoculation.
Through vaccines?
Yeah, through vaccines. Pretending to inoculate people and that type of thing.
The idea being to kill black people?
Yeah, to eradicate black people. You must understand the concept was that AIDS was a killer. It was incurable at that point in time, so it was led to believe that if infected people, it was the quick, non-militaristic approach to eliminate black people.
And that is something you know for a fact, that AIDS was actively being spread to other countries?
Yes, to African countries. We were at war. Black people in South Africa were the enemy.
But so it was about white supremacy?
Definitely. Definitely trying to retain the white supremacy on the African continent.
And furthermore, he tells us that the purpose of Maxwell's clinics in and around Johannesburg was to infect black people with HIV.
He had the one in Tokoze, he had the one in Alex.
Yes.
If I'm not mistaken, there was on the West Rand. So, and these were research facilities for them to inject people with a solution to see that they prevented AIDS in it. In the meantime, they were injecting people with AIDS.
And he was only working on black people in these clinics?
Yes, yeah.
For almost nothing?
Yeah. But that's what I'm saying. So you know what I mean? What easier way to get a big guinea pig? That you live in the apartheid system, black people have got no rights, they need medical treatment. There's a white philanthropist coming in and say, you know what, I'll open up these clinics and I will treat you, I will do this, and meantime you actually the wolf in sheep's.
Did you visit these clinics yourself?
Yes, I went to the clinic in Alex where there was the research facility, and there was monitors, there was tubes, there was a proper lab. If you want to say it's scientist lab, you know, proper freaky scientist lab, definitely.
Were there clinics also in other countries?
Well, look, I know personally that I know of, our base of operations for this project was in Mozambique. That I can tell you.
Where Dagmar Fail was working?
Yes.
He knew about Dagmar Fail and what she did.
She was recruited to do medical research in Maxwell's labs in Alexander, and then obviously she progressed and she became part of the inner circle for the operations, and she went to Mozambique to fulfill her obligations. And when it came, word got out that she was going to testify.
She was going to inform the authorities about SIMA.
Correct, yes.
And the spread of AIDS.
That's right. And I think it's well known in our circles that it was SIMA themselves that took her out.
But why would SIMA place that advert?
Why wouldn't they?
It's like a decoy.
Exactly.
Another possible spin is there was an interview published in South Africa with Maxwell and an ensign, a woman named Debbie.
She's the young lady.
Yes.
Yes.
And
where she was at school, and he recruited her from school.
Yes. We have tried to track her down, but we can't find her.
I don't think she's around anymore.
You don't think she's alive anymore?
Yeah.
Could that be Dagmar Fail?
No, it's not Dagmar.
It's not. It's two different ones.
Her name is Debbie Campbell.
And Debbie's,
article, yes.
Debbie's no, but Debbie's blonde.
Would the South African government, the apartheid regime, would they have known that SIMA was spreading AIDS inside South Africa and outside as well to kill off black people?
Highly likely. That's why I'm telling you that's why people were killed for it.
That's why Dagmar Fell was killed, maybe.
Yeah. That's what
Here I want to talk about global warming. If we do not get population under control, I can guarantee you that we're not going to control global warming, because the aspirational poor people out there are going to want to live the way we live, and we're not going to lower our standards of living. Today, fertility rates everywhere in the world are just about below replacement. I think India is slightly above, but it's falling fairly rapidly, except in Africa. If you cannot control African population, we are going to be in a world towards the end of this century where we've got 6 billion poor Africans looking to do something, and that's not going to be good for the climate, and it's not going to be good for society. How much ESG attention do you think is devoted to that absolutely essential issue? None. So I'm really skeptical of ESG. I think it impairs the thing that's made human life what it is today. And I think it focuses on fashionable things, not on the absolute essentials.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and we have the highest HIV rate in these countries. You know, it doesn't take a genius to realize this. There gotta be a link between the number of Europeans in a country, in an African country, and the HIV rate. And then you gotta ask yourself a question, say, what is going on here? And here is where now this video comes in. This man from South Africa, and it's not me, I'm gonna post the video, you watch it. It's actually quite sickening, like literally sickening. This man exposes an organization called SIMA, which was South African Institute of Medical Research. And basically, the way these people looked at, this is South Africa apartheid, all right? The way they looked at what was happening in South Africa, they were at war, whites versus blacks. And the goal was to exterminate, and that is still the goal. The goal was to exterminate black people. So what did they do? They set up clinics around South Africa, not just South Africa, in Mozambique. They even went as far as Congo. And I'm pretty sure this same system was spread all across Southern Africa. The goal was to exterminate black people. And they set up clinics. And here is where we have a problem as black people, because black people, I think, all over the world behave the same way. Whenever someone who doesn't look like us set up something, we always think they will do a better job than someone who looks like us. So what these people said, that they set up clinics, and I tell you what, majority of the people in those clinics were probably white people. So black people thought, oh, that's where quality is, and they go to these clinics, and guess what? They were just popping them with HIV. And the goal was, and this is not me saying this, you hear it in the video, was to exterminate black people. Now, this is a group in South Africa. There's still this some sort of way of thinking is still happening today. I posted a video some time back about this white professor at one of the best universities in America, I think Columbia University in America. And this guy, it's a business faculty that he was actually running. So he was quite a big guy into this stuff. I'll connect a video when you watch the SIMA video. Connect to this. And I'm listening to this guy because he's into investment, and he's a well-respected guy in this area. This guy hangs out with billionaires, okay? And all of a sudden, he was interviewing somebody. Everything changed. It's just this part where he put in. He says, "Oh, there's so many black people gonna come here and destroy our way of life. So we need to control their population in Africa." What do you mean when you say, what do you think he meant when he said you need to control their population? It's eradication. And I can tell you this, video after video, I've never heard or seen a video of an African trying to say we want to exterminate white people. Has never happened. But there's video and video after video of white people wanting to exterminate black people in Africa. The sad thing is, I don't think the government of South Africa, even though it's now run by black people, I don't think they've ever sued SIMA for what they did to their own people. They've never done that, because that doesn't bring money to them. They haven't sued Saima for what they did, and also they haven't even compensated for people who were infected. So these people now are sick and are still living in poverty, and their lives have been ruined, and there hasn't never been any compensation whatsoever. They've spoken about it, blah blah blah, and that's it. So if you don't treat your people right, because this is what's going to happen, and personally, this is just my view about South Africa. I think South Africa may be quite in trouble. First of all, they've pissed off Israel, and Israel is one of the most powerful armies in the world. They got billionaires supporting the Bezos, almost every Jewish billionaire that you know is supporting these guys, sending billions and billions of dollars. They have the technology. South Africa doesn't have the technology, and the reason why South Africa doesn't have the technology that these guys have, they might have a little bit here and there, the common one, and if they do, it's probably produced by a white South African. Do you think he's gonna go with the blacks if when push comes to shove? No, he's not gonna do that. If Israel was going to attack South Africa, most white South Africans will fight with Israel. Trust me on that one. And then when you look at what's happening in America, I don't care who wins. I'm going to make money either way. But with Elon supporting Trump, and Elon has always said bad things about South Africa, what do you think he's going to tell us Trump to do? Because when last time Trump was in power, he was trying to investigate why about the farm killings, and all that stuff they were trying to build up. Oh, white people have been killed in South Africa, blah, blah. They're trying to build that stuff up. That stuff is going to come back. And I won't be surprised if America ends up attacking South Africa to take their land back, to take their country back. Because there's a lot of, and Elon Musk, I think, would be one of those people who still believe that's their country. They've lost the country. And guess what? I don't think most black people in South Africa would be willing to even fight. Because they've seen what has happened after independence. The country hasn't developed at the rate it should be developing. So it's not going to motivate people to even fight. So you look at this AIDS thing, man, it's just sad. It's so sad, man. And these people have never been persecuted. And it's not just this company. There's another company called Sida, I think it was like Swedish something. All these companies, they've all been accused of doing similar stuff. Now, what do they say AIDS started? AIDS started apparently in West Africa. That's according to the theory that they have out there. Someone slept with a monkey. Now, that's how I know that's not true. If there's someone who's more likely to sleep with a monkey, will be a white person. Because just look at when these guys are seeing animals. Look at people who get attacked in these animal reserves in South Africa, in Zambia, wherever. It's usually white people, because they want to get close to the animals. Africans don't even want to get close to the animals. You see what happens to those the guides. The guides will be standing far away and say, "Oh, it's over there." He's pointing. It's over there, and these guys are going there trying to touch these animals. I've never seen a black person in Africa here playing with the animals. It's always like white people or someone from Dubai or something like that, hugging and cuddling with animals. We don't do that. So if someone wants to sleep with a monkey, trust me, he ain't gonna be somebody black. He ain't gonna be that. And here is proof. There's rock paintings in Africa. Some of them going further as 30-something years ago, 30,000 something years ago. On all these rock paintings, you're not going to find one rock painting where our ancestors have drawn someone banging an animal. You're never going to see it. But here's the thing. Cross the Mediterranean, you're going to see these rock paintings over there. Once you cross the Mediterranean into Europe, these rock paintings are everywhere. How do you know we got horsepower? Horsepower is because Europeans believed once you bang a horse, it gives you power. That's why we get horsepower. And you're going to see paintings, even statues of someone, banging a horse. But they flip the coin on us and they say, no, It's you. Same thing when COVID started. The rumors were even started spreading around the world. They almost put it on the Africans. But I'll tell you one success story about it. It's a story of Uganda. Uganda in the 80s, HIV rate, after obviously Europeans jabbed them with AIDS, this thing spread like wildfire, right? And they go in to start telling them to start using condoms. It wasn't working. What Uganda did, it stopped listening to Europeans. They started doing something traditional. They changed people's mindset. Yeah, a little bit of, abstain, but Africans were already abstaining way back because they respected they respected people, they respected women. You had to wait. You got married, and there's a traditional going on, and young men had to go through this process of initiation. But we've forgotten all that because we've rubbished off as witchcraft, and we want to all be westernized, right? When Uganda did that, the HIV rate dropped. Up to now, Uganda has some of the slowest HIV rates in Africa. I think it's like 1 point something. West Africa, where they claim it started, HIV rates are very low. Except now, because now there's also a lot of people going to West Africa, a lot of white people going to West Africa, the HIV rates started going up. But they've been quite low there. If it started there, it should be more there, not Southern Africa. But because, it wasn't about anyone banging an animal. This thing was created in the lab, and the target has always been the extermination of black people. And the sad thing is that we have leaders who are so idiotic that even up to now, there's no factory that manufactures condoms in Africa. These guys were making condoms during even the First World War. So the technology has improved so much since then. Who knows what they put in these things? And I'm not kidding. You look it up. The soldiers in Europe during the Second World War, they had condoms on them. Because apparently the women there were just infected with all kinds of stuff. And the soldiers, when, they go into some of these places, they used to get infected with all sorts of things. So they were being given condoms all the time. And I'm not kidding. You can even YouTube this stuff. 1930s, they had condoms. Now, if you've had something for that long, they find a way to even put some HIV in those condoms. And the Africans ain't making condoms. They import everything. When someone's aim is trying to exterminate you and you're giving them opportunities by importing their stuff and eating their stuff, they're going to do it. They're going to do it. Because you've given them an opportunity. You're failing to show your power to say you can take care of yourself, you can grow or you can eat what you grow and grow what you eat. If it's the guy from America who doesn't want black people to go there, I don't even blame him. If we have a land that has everything, most arable land, almost any mineral you can think of is there. The only continent on this planet that does not need to import anything, and you can't develop it. You can't develop that continent. And when you do you think people will respect you if you go? Of course, if most of you end up where in their countries, they know their country is not going to develop because you failed to develop your country with everything in it. You failed to do it. So don't blame them. Stop all this. Oh, they're racist. Oh, they're this. Nah, they're just trying to protect their land. If you sit down and develop your own land, people respect you. Look at China. The Chinese were called dogs. You watch Bruce Lee movie, you see this. He's trying to tell you what was going on there. Today, not even Xi Jinping, it could be the finance minister of China shows up in an European country. It's red carpet and the stock market goes where everyone, people singing even in the Chinese language. This is in Europe. It's happening because of what China has been able to do. You can't stand up for your own people after they've been infected with HIV. Because you don't love your own people. This is what I don't understand with these politicians, man. To me, it looks like they actually don't love their people. Because if you did, it's not that hard to develop. I'm telling you, it's not complicated to develop a country. Botswana, with 2 million people, has almost $20 billion saved up just by using some smart moves. Just a little bit of smart moves, $20 billion saved up. If there's 2 million people and there's $20 billion, you know, everyone in Botswana is rich. So Nigeria, almost 200 million people, some of the smartest people in the world, and there's still poverty. Why? Because I don't think these leaders care about us, because if they did, all this HIV stuff will stop, because it's not just Africans who are promiscuous. Everyone in the world is banging something. So we need to get to a situation where we stop accepting idiotic leadership. And there's a part where we have to say no more, or else we're gonna be enslaved again. And they're gonna say, like, we left you with your own leaders, with your own everybody, and you haven't developed the continent. So get out of here, because I tell you what, and this is where you guys have to be very, very careful, because I think South Africa, like I said before, I think South Africa is in trouble. If you look at what happened in Argentina, they killed black people there. And the same way the Saima thing was doing, that's what they were doing there. Whenever there was war, they would put black people at the forefront, and then they would put them in one particular area and infect them with some sort of disease. And today, Argentina, there's hardly any blacks there in Argentina. You know, if we don't be serious, there might not be any blacks in Africa at some point, because now with AI and all these things, it'll be very easy to kill or to exterminate people. It'll be very easy. And we are not doing anything to protect ourselves. Not protect ourselves from HIV, not protecting ourselves from all sorts of ills that these people have besorted on us. We just accept it, and we go there and start begging and begging and begging and begging. When are we going to stand up in our godly state and say no more? HIV rate so high. Me, I thought, oh, it was only Africans who, like, maybe they cheat too much. That's not true. And that's the thing they like to say out there. Oh, it's the Africans, it's the Africans. It's not true. It's everybody. Even this ratchet behavior people like to show in America about, people in the ghetto or whatever. You might think I'm going to post a video, because that's all country girls, white country girls, behaving just as terrible as these other people, but you don't hear about that. Same thing with Diddy. Everyone, oh, Diddy this. Have you heard about the former boss of Abercrombie and Fitch? He's just been arrested. He had more baby oil than Diddy. And I'm going to make a video about that very soon. I wonder if P.S. Morgan is going to interview him. I wonder if Charlamagne and them on the Breakfast Club going to interview him. I wonder if we're going to see some of the videos being released before even. Black people, wake up. Wake up. Don't celebrate your fellow black people, black men's downfall. That man, Diddy, is not going through what he's going through because he's gay. And he had 38 pastors at his gay parties. No, that's not it. But that's what you guys have been fed. And that's, oh, Diddy, oil. The reality is Diddy wanted his share of the money he made for Diageo through Ciroc. And they said, we're not going to give it to you. The same thing they did to Kanye. And you guys are here celebrating. When are we going to wake up? Ask yourself that question. When are we going to wake up? Don't watch stupid stuff. Watch something that's education. We need to do something about this HIV rate. And I tell you what, all of you guys going to Africa and having fun, it's a great place. But just remember, this HIV shit is real. Thanks, guys, for watching my video. And please remember to subscribe. Goodbye.